right, we're back for another episode of the 2-in-1 podcast, and this time we're going to be talking about just current events again, and we're going to go a little bit into Jeffrey Epstein, considering that the documentary Filthy Rich just came out on Netflix. We thought it might be appropriate just to skim over a little bit.
Just talk about Jeffrey Epstein, and I don't think we really have discussed Jeffrey Epstein like that.
Yeah,
and
we
it's just
haven't.
Interesting because that was a huge story, especially last year.
Well, I mean, it's crazy. It's huge, and it's one of those conspiracy theories that people can definitely get on board with. Yeah. No one's really okay, sure, he killed himself.
And also because everybody knows, just instinctively, intuitively, that everyone powerful is a pedophile.
I mean,
and this just proved it true.
I mean, the list of people he rode with,
the Black Book.
The Black Book of all his passengers. I mean, Bill Clinton rode 26 times with him, and that's crazy to think about because I haven't even been on a plane at all once, so I don't even know, riding with someone 26 times, let alone being on a plane 26 times.
Yeah.
That's interesting. He went all around the globe with them too, which is very, very intriguing.
And I mean, just the people in the Black Book, the Black Book covers an extensive list of all kinds of people, financiers, actors, singers, politicians, just every filthy conspiracy theory about people at the top being into satanic and perverted shit it's true.
I mean,
it's true. Shia LaBeouf said, and Elijah Wood said that one of the biggest problems in Hollywood is pedophilia.
That's
crazy. I believe it.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about, man. Because I mean, Sacha Baron Cohen almost undercover he was undercover one time in Vegas filming I forget what he was filming exactly, but he was doing...
It was that show that he was doing, something like that.
I can't get the name on me right now.
I don't remember either, but there was a show that he was doing that I think that's what that was
just
for.
Doing his thing, his Sacha Baron Cohen thing, and he almost uncovered a sex ring, a underage sex ring in Vegas. That's
not funny, but it's also it's very funny.
That Sacha Baron Cohen is the one who's doing this. What are the odds
that there is just casually a sex ring, that a sex ring just casually exists?
It's so scary to think, man. And we live in a world where that's a thing. In broad daylight. I mean, my parents live in Las Vegas. My sister lives in Las Vegas. My brother lives in Las Vegas. My aunts, my uncles, my grandma. It's crazy to think about because, if that's real, who knows what could happen,
I mean...
not saying that stuff's ever going to happen, knock on the wood, but, if that's a real location for that kind of stuff to happen, you wouldn't want anyone that you love to be there, right?
Right. And I think this is something that we Americans take for granted because I guess Americans, people from the UK, and a lot of people who just live in quote unquote the West, that pedophilia is this thing that is confined to a group of really powerful people. I mean, yeah, there are creeps, everywhere, right? There are pedophiles everywhere, but there's this conspiracy that a lot of people like to think of as these powerful people doing these horrible things in private and going to fucking Lolita Island and all of these things. But in, fucking Thailand, there's, open, child prostitution, it's just it's the norm. Yeah, it's the norm over there. It's not masked, it's not concealed, it's not, wealthy Americans go there. It's fucking get their shit, get off.
Yeah, I mean,
fucking kids.
Well,
they go abroad.
Well, I mean, that location over there is probably a lot easier to get away with it too, because like it's not the same as it is here. Where if you try to do that here's like in any kind of city, people have the means to keep up and to keep an eye on you,
Mhm.
and they can report you. But like
Oh
over there,
yeah.
it's not as easy,
Yeah. Yeah, it's more
So
crooked. It's more corrupt, and it's very fertile ground for pedophiles from these Western countries,
mm,
essentially.
yeah, you
But
want
if
to,
you have the means and you can't do it here
yeah,
because it's too risky,
yeah, you
then
don't
you
want to
just
risk your
go
life.
fuck kids from some other country
Yeah.
that really don't have a say.
Oh yeah, just go any.
Which that just like speaks to like a greater,
Mm.
like we say that with pedophiles, but really that's kind of what we do with labor.
Oh yeah, you got a
We
point.
take away, we would rather outsource
iPhones and
all that,
people. We're cool
yeah,
with people like committing suicide off roofs
in other
for
countries.
iPhones.
Yeah, so that we don't have to like pay people good wages to do it here. We
Hmm.
can just do child labor.
Well, I mean, like even like with COVID, like that really exposed like what do we have here? What are we not like outsourcing?
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
if something really bad happened and we had to close off like our trade routes, like
Yeah.
what do we got here? Nothing.
Exactly. Yeah, imagine all it takes is a strong enough hit to the supply chain,
Hmm.
and we, I mean, there's actually all manufacturing has left the US. Like
Hmm.
it's long left the US. The US is now empty and vapid of any actual product. We don't actually
We
make
don't make
it. We don't
anything.
make
Yeah,
anything. We don't
yeah.
make any. We have bullshit jobs in the US. You know what I
We're just
mean?
consumers here.
We're just consumers. Like no one here has, very few people here have real jobs
Yeah.
that actually produce something and keep, and that by that I honestly mean really the essential workers that still went to work during the crisis.
Shout
Though
out.
that shows, yeah, everybody else was unemployed.
Yep.
Honestly, like if you could do your job at home, like that's it's
This is like the essential work that people do here and the gig economy. People have,
yeah,
it's gigs and service.
yeah, gigs and service, and yeah, I don't know how we got on this tangent, but
Here we
I
are.
think it's worth noting
Welcome to the show.
that that America's kind of useless, really. But before we get into the fun world of pedophilia, I think I want to talk about your experience yesterday
Yeah. So
at the Victorville City Council
yeah,
meeting.
I went to the city council meeting in Victorville. I didn't sit in the actual meeting. I was just standing outside, just with the crowd chanting. I got there around like 4:18 ish, to be exact. Um,
Nice.
uh, and yeah, it was relatively small compared to like Riverside, even like Moreno Valley's like protest. But it was still something, and it's like being a native, like born and like pretty much raised. I spent like a good part of my life there, like 19 years there. It's still good to see that there's other people out there, that that are trying to like make a change. And a lot of my friends were actually there. I know like your friend Jake was there, and I saw him. I said, "What's up?" And we were in the middle of it, so not much conversation. Even like with my friends too, it's all just like we're there for business, and that was the cool thing to see. It was not there for just talks and whatnot. Like Victorville took it serious, and that was great. Like a lot of people went inside the city council and like spoke, and yeah, it was great to see.
So I saw that there, and I don't know if I'm wrong about this, but there was a particular item on the agenda regarding police funds
Mm.
that people went for explicitly, which I think from what I read online and from like posters that people were sharing of the protests, that it was about, I think, a motion that one of the council members introduced to add funds to the police,
Yeah, no,
something
that's one thing
along
that they
those
were
lines.
a lot of the protesters were talking about because I wasn't aware of that at all. Like I'm not fully integrated with Victorville's like city like counts on what decisions they make or anything like that. But yeah, apparently like they're trying to add funds to the police department, and that I don't see the point of that is, but that's the argument for them right now. And yeah, a lot of people were just against that. That was the biggest issue that I heard, and essentially it. Obviously get an investigation going on, but that's it.
Yeah. Did they say anything at the city council meeting? Did the council members actually say anything about the lynching?
See, no, I wasn't inside the actual like council room, and so they only had let it like a limited amount of people to go in, and it was basically like you go in, and if you stay, you are staying, and it's only like a maximum of 20 people, but like as soon as you leave, someone else can come in and say something, and that's how it works, So basically, 20 people come in,
And it wasn't broadcast to the outside crowd by
not
screen or anything?
no one was able to like view it from the outside or like
Okay.
because they were all just waiting in line and waiting to go inside and just speak, and that was it. Yeah.
Wow. I'm actually curious to see, because it's going to be online, because they record city council meetings, so I actually want to go home and watch it later just to see if they actually did bring up the lynching. If anybody brought, I mean, if enough people went to give public comment, I'm sure somebody brought up
for
that
sure
there was a lynching.
That was the biggest thing. There was the lynching was. I mean, how could it not be the biggest thing? It happened right there, in town, right in front of the public library.
That is.
Yeah.
What the hell, dude?
Yeah, it was like the public library is like right. It's off. I believe it's 7th Street, which is like Old Town Victorville. Not really the best location, but still, man, public libraries where kids go and whatnot. I mean, like, granted, like no one's going because of COVID or anything like that, but still, like,
it's a very public place,
and it's a public message for sure.
It's a public mess. I mean, like, it's a lynching.
It's a lynching for sure.
That is just that.
Who commits suicide in public like that? It makes it that big of a deal.
Yeah. The other lynching, the one that took place in Palmdale, I read that they found evidence of that they killed the guy before they actually hung him.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, I wonder if homicide now, right? It has to be, right? Or
yeah, they've been ruling all of them suicides.
Mm-hmm. But what didn't the autopsy come in and wasn't ruled as a homicide now, or?
Well, yeah, no, it definitely wasn't. Definitely wasn't a suicide.
But yeah, no, it's just nuts that these are happening right now. On top of all of this, that's already happened, and it's really hard to believe that it's going. It's just like right now it's so close to us here. I mean, just say it happened in my hometown, so you never know where it can happen, and that's why these protests are that important.
Yeah. So, who I'm thinking of is Robert Fuller. I think if I'm remembering this correctly, they said that they found, I don't know if it was a stabbing or something else that killed him.
I think it was a stabbing.
And then he was hung, like
right after
he died. I don't know about the Victorville lynching. Malcolm Harsh. They just found him. I don't know if they've done any autopsy.
There's no official autopsy that came out, but as of right now, it's just suicide.
Yeah.
But going back to the stabbing thing, like who stabs themselves like during this and for suicide?
I think that's pretty obvious information that these were obviously these are all obviously homicides. Somebody killed these men. These boys, really. Robert Fuller he was a child. He was young.
Yeah, dude.
He was 24 years old.
Dude, like, it's just the fact that this is happening, man. Like, what year are we in, man? Like.
Yeah, it just feels so surreal because that lynchings didn't only take place during Jim Crow. Lynchings have been have always been happening. You know, Ahmaud Arbery, he was lynched. That's a lynching. That's a 20th century lynching. Every police killing is a 21st century lynching.
Yeah.
And that image of actually seeing bodies of black men like strung up on trees, that's a very deliberate message. That's deliberately placed for you to see the nature of.
There's so many ways to go, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
You have so many ways to get a gun. You know, you can do pills. You know, you can put the toaster in the oven, toaster in the bath. You know, something else that's not as public as that. You know, like that's just. I don't know, man.
Well, and not even like ways of suicide, but ways of homicide.
Oh yeah,
there's so many ways for you to kill someone. So the fact that you choose this very racist display of a lynching, a very classic racist image of a black man hung from a tree to display in 2020 is, where do you even go with that? That, I mean, we like to think that socially we've made this progress, and we have in a lot of ways.
Well, not. I mean,
but then again,
still no. I mean, Trump's out there like proposing like new rules against police, and right now he's not saying defund the police or anything like that. He's just out trying to outlaw chokeholds in certain situations. And Democrats are no better either. They don't even want to get rid of what is it?
Qualified
immunity.
Yeah.
They want to they just want to get some of it. You know, they still want to like give them like a loophole to be able to say, okay, you know, they get to have the qualified immunity if this happens. But it's not. They're not abolishing it at all. They're not getting rid of anything. You know, they're just putting it. They're just checking it, but still allowing it to happen.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Without a doubt, like the establishment has no interest whatsoever in actually defunding the police. The only calls that I've seen for defunding police departments by politicians have been at the super local level, at various city council members from different like municipalities across the country, and even then they're very few and far between. But I guess like I'm referring more so to not so much what politicians do and what people in power do, but what regular people do. Because it could very well be that all of these lynchings were done by cops, you know? But also it's not far-fetched to say that these lynchings were done by civilians.
Yeah, I mean...
Which really, it gets into the whole thing of what's social... On a social level, what progress has actually been made? If, lynchings aren't as prevalent, but they are still happening.
Yeah.
And not just in the literal lynched from a tree sense, but I guess also in the Ahmaud Arbery way of you can be black just jogging down a neighborhood, and if a civilian racist deems it, they can kill you. You know, those are lynchings too.
Yeah. And
those haven't stopped either. So socially,
what's really how much progress have we made? You know?
How much progress have we made? The Civil Rights Act of '64 is on the books, but you see all these videos all the time of these racist Karens and these racist guys, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
they're just out there, man. It's just, I mean, like there's no such thing as good without that, you know?
Yeah.
So there's just, they're out there, and there has to be a point where there has to be an overwhelming amount of evidence, I guess, for them. But even then, why isn't that not now? You know, how is that not now?
I think this really goes hand in hand with the fact that class consciousness in a lot of ways is stifled in the U.S., where people don't really have a stake in doing anti-racist work because it's like if you're white and you don't really have any sort of meaningful class consciousness, you're probably thinking what end? I'm kind of doing this out of the goodness of my heart. I'm kind of being anti-racist out of the goodness of my heart and not because I have something at stake. And I'm not saying that by gaining class consciousness, racism would go away, but I think it would do a lot to alleviate it because then you can be, as a working class white, know that you and working class people of color are kind of essentially fighting the same battle.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I like to be optimistic of that. Like, every generation that comes,
gets better.
Because at one point, we had slaves. And then at one point, we had colored schools, and we had all kinds of rules and regulations. We went through Jim Crow, and we went through everything. And now it's being publicly shamed. Now there's these extreme protests across the country. It's still happening. I hate to be this, oh, but, let's be optimistic here, but let's also be realistic about what we're seeing here,
Mm-hmm.
It used to be even worse.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's still bad, I mean, it's still bad, but, there's hope that future generations, I don't know how many generations ahead, hopefully not many, hopefully the next one puts an end to this, but there's a trend going.
There is a trend. I think a lot of people would agree that there's a trend, that that MLK quote, that how does it go? It's like the arc of history is long, but it bends towards justice or something like that. Mm. So I think a lot of people do agree that yes, there is progress. Every generation it gets a little bit better. I think what people are arguing is that it's not fast enough.
Oh, I'm not opposing that at all.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely not. If we do nothing, if nothing ever happens, I feel like in natural time, I guess, it would eventually die out.
Yeah.
But that being said, let's speed it up as soon as possible because this is ridiculous here. This is ridiculous.
I stand, I still stand with I think that, raising class consciousness would go a long way in I guess, ameliorating racism, because, I mean, we can say the whole thing of let's abolish capitalism and, let's, overthrow the ruling class and all of these things. There still would be racist people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no matter what.
That's always going to be a thing, I think. There's going to be prejudice of some kind, but we also have to come to grips with the fact that capitalism is dependent on having or rather on not having solidarity amongst oppressed classes, and there's a lot of, I guess, intersections of oppression, but there has to be always something, because the minute everybody gets together and demands better, then the ruse is up, essentially. So I think that would go a long way. For sure, race and class go hand in hand. Not to be a class reductionist either, saying once you take care of the class problem, racism's going to go away, because it's not.
No, definitely not. I mean, it's too much, and it's too involved with the history of humans right now. There's no way it's going to go away if let's say we defund the police right now, and everything gets alleviated. Communities get the kind of needed aid that they need. And everything's cool, everything's great. There's still going to be racism.
Yeah.
With each, there's an older generation that's still racist, and we'll remember the old times, and we'll teach about the old times.
Yeah. And I mean, and you can even look to like the 50s and the 60s. These were really like golden ages of working class people. You know, that people, you know, those were the days where you could have the nuclear family where only the dad would go to work, and that would be enough to give his family and his entire family a good life.
Yeah.
You know? And even for black people, it was financially, not to say that they were prospering by any means, but if you compare black people of that era to black people of this era, black generational wealth is, like, studies have shown that it is declining with every passing generation.
Well, that's with like wealth overall with every generation.
Right?
It's not just with like the black community and all that. It's everyone right now. There is a huge issue when it comes to like gaining wealth with our generation. We're not gaining anything. We're all in debt. And even our parents' generation, like, they're barely getting by right now.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's just it's when you hit that 50-year-old, like the 50-year-olds that are out there right now, they're probably like max gains, you know?
Yeah.
And
yeah, I mean, the boomers are really like the last ones who have like those remnants of wealth from, I guess, the good old days. I mean, we used to have like a 90% like top marginal tax rate. Like, that is unheard of now.
No.
And I brought that up to say that those were some of the most prosperous times for workers in America, and some of the most racist too. That was at the height of Jim Crow, you know? That was at the height of public lynchings. Like, the fact that people would go to watch black men get lynched, and it would be like a picnic. They would bring food. It would be like an event. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't have the answers. I just know race and class, like, you can't separate them.
Well, definitely not.
But you also can't really be a class reductionist about it either, and say that once you fix wealth inequality, that racism is going to be gone. It will definitely be ameliorated, but I don't know, man. Especially, I think America has like a unique situation, I guess,
in what way?
With racism, and that not to say that it's the only racist country or the only country with a racist past.
Oh yeah.
But okay. I mean, even just like if you take the original sin of Native American genocide, like, this is literally stolen land.
No, yeah.
This is literally a country built on stolen land,
built
free. By slave for free by slave labor. So, like, those original sins have never been addressed. Speaking of, I don't know if like you saw, but I think everybody has heard by now, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of trans, gay and trans rights.
But at the same time, they
approved
the Appalachian pipeline.
Yeah, which is going to go directly under a lot of tribal territory.
So do you think that was like the whole transgender thing was a ruse?
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Just, hey, look at this. We did this good thing.
Yeah.
You know, but also, you don't hear about this.
Exactly.
You know?
Which even then, I saw memes. I saw like a tweet that was like, I'm so happy that now I can't get fired for being gay. But I can get fired for literally anything else. Which is like, this like, it's just so performative.
Yeah.
It's so shallow. It doesn't really have any substance. It's all show. Do you know what I mean?
To the naked eye, it's only good though. You know?
Yeah.
To people who don't know.
To people who don't know, yeah, exactly.
You know, it's like, oh wow, we did that. Congratulations, USA.
Yeah. Yeah, like, we're so progressive.
We're so progressive. We're number one.
Yeah.
You know, reclaiming our steps, number one. But like, that's the thing. It's like they don't know better, and like it's easy to like go after them. But you know, we need to start informing these people. I'm tired of like constantly making fun of them. Don't get me wrong, I love a good laugh, but you know, we need to start informing them too. You know.
Yeah.
Let's start making jokes behind their back now.
Behind their back.
Yeah, because I'm done. Because it's not.
And start publicly educating them.
Yeah, because we got to start, like, something needs to change. And they don't like being bullied anymore. So, fuck it.
On, like, sort of a different tangent, have you seen the whole, like, J. Cole, No Name?
Okay, so I saw some highlights of that on Twitter. I don't really know. I saw hashtags and I saw J. Cole's name when I was going through my timeline. But I have no idea what's going on with it.
So essentially, J. Cole dropped a track
Mm-hmm.
in which a lot of people are saying is a quote unquote diss track to No Name. And I didn't listen to the song, but I read the lyrics that everybody was talking about.
Okay.
And essentially, he was trying to convey that he has a problem with her tone and the way that she portrays things, and how, yes, she's smart, she does the readings, and she's very passionate, but let's do better to educate people that don't do the readings, that don't know. And this was born out of, I guess, one of No Name's tweets, which, to my knowledge, I think she deleted already, but it basically said something along the lines of, your favorite rappers can't even throw a tweet up, or something like that. So J. Cole's track was indirectly, I guess, a response to that. And that's kind of, it's kind of dumb, because it's not really a diss track. It's like a non-diss track, but also referencing something that she said that he didn't fully agree with. And honestly, I'm on the side of No Name, just because it's like, why, what then what was the point?
Yeah.
J. Cole, it sounds like he's essentially saying, like, I'm like do better, please educate me and educate others, and let's do better.
Yeah.
But it was very clearly referencing No Name, and I can't think of like a more educational person, like as far as like rappers go, or musicians, or like, she has literally a book club like dedicated to this.
Well, I mean, I don't know, man.
Like, I just don't see what the point of it was. But
it could just be a simple like misinformation thing from J. Cole's part, but really, I don't know. We'll see. It's breaking news today.
Breaking news today. Yeah, I think it dropped literally, like just last night or something, because I just saw like the drama about it today. But I mean, I don't know. It's just dumb, because at the end of the day, like, I'm sure they both agree on the same thing. So I don't know why. It sounds to me, honestly, like J. Cole just has a problem with her tone, which is like, is that really like the most pressing thing to be worried about now?
Well, for some people, tone is everything. But right, like you said, right now, like now,
yeah,
I get you.
And also, there's always so much like Twitter discourse going on. Like, I don't know if you also saw that tweet about that girl that was like, you don't have to read Marx or Engels, but read Angela Davis and all these other women and people of color and disabled revolutionaries. And I guess a lot of people had a problem with that, because it's like, yeah, you should definitely read these people, but don't substitute it for like base theory.
Yeah, you can't. Well, exactly.
Like, Angela Davis tells everyone to read Marx. So you can't.
Like, first off, like, let's refer back to what
we
already. Like, that's the thing. It's like, you can't forget the people who came before you.
Yeah.
No matter what it is in life, whatever lessons there are, the people who came before, they made those first discoveries so you can like learn from the people that you're currently learning from.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So read Marx, I think.
Yeah.
Read a little Marx.
It's a little Marx as a treat.
As a treat.
Just as a treat, yeah. Get them in there.
Yeah, but the world is crazy. Twitter's crazy. The rappers are beefing.
But what else is new?
What else is new?
And all those things, what else is new? But, I don't know, what do you think? Like, so do you think Epstein was involved with, like, some kind of, like, real secret society stuff?
I think Epstein was the lowest hanging fruit, the bottom of the barrel, the most disposable, like,
really
character.
You're saying this?
Oh yeah.
This guy who was worth, particularly, like, I think what was $577 million, like a net worth of that.
Yeah.
This guy who just who knows all these people who just hung around, like that. These like Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, Trump, and many other celebrities of some sort that I'm drawing blanks on right now.
I think Joan Rivers at some point.
Joan Rivers too. Wow.
Was in the Black Book. A lot of people, fuck. Honestly, okay, if I can like plug something really quick, there's everything. I think like everything that could possibly be said about Jeffrey Epstein has already been said, and way more eloquently than I could ever put it. But there's a really cool podcast called TrueAnon, which like covers the entire Jeffrey Epstein universe.
Mm-hmm.
They go, and it's not solely Jeffrey Epstein. It also has to do with like all the QAnon conspiracies and like Pizzagate, but they're all really connected and interrelated. But it's really cool. Honestly, that's where I studied any like Jeffrey Epstein info that I got from TrueAnon.
What?
They have a cool theme song.
You have shown me that actually. I do want to plug actually Filthy Rich, Netflix's documentary on all this, because that's that doc did mention quite a few of the victims and the survivors throughout this entire thing. The ones that came through, they spoke about it, and you should check it out. We're not going to go over it. Everything has been said pretty much about this guy.
Yeah.
We can just go through like.
Yeah, but with that being said, let's delve a little bit into the man, the legend.
Yeah, a little bit in there.
Let's get in there.
A little J. Epps,
Yeah. So Jeffrey Epstein. So this dude, his past is sketchy because he came kind of into the spotlight as a financier, as a hedge fund manager.
Yeah.
Which is really weird because it's so the history behind how he got into finance is so spotty. No one's like entirely sure. So this dude, first of all, he was a 2-time college dropout, I think. I don't think he even graduated college, right?
No. He got a teaching job.
But he became a teacher at a really like prestigious school in New York, I believe.
Yeah.
Called Dalton. He was teaching, I think, math. So he was already like wildly unqualified. And out of nowhere, he starts teaching at this like really prestigious, I think it's a high school. I think Dalton's a high school.
Is it? Oh, okay. This whole time I thought it was a college of shit.
I think it's a high school. Let me double check that.
But that's crazy to think that. Like, how in the world do you have that kind of pull on someone to get a teaching gig, without teaching credentials, and you haven't even graduated college?
I think that this really goes into, like, kind of the larger point that I think a lot of people should take away is that if you have the power and the connections, then you can really do almost anything. Like, a lot of the Jeffrey Epstein stuff really is, like, it's disgusting and it's astounding. How did he do this? How did he molest all these girls and get away with it? And then it really comes down to, like, the simple fact of, well, a lot of these girls were essentially trafficked, financially disadvantaged, poor girls.
Those, like, there were articles, like, taken out in newspapers from, like, Ghislaine Maxwell, like, would put out articles saying that you can make some quick, easy money, $100, $200, you can massage a guy, naked, whatever, just make some quick, easy money.
Yeah.
And they just take advantage of that. And that's how you start trafficking women like that. I mean, financially needy people are going to always go towards the money, if in desperate times, desperate measures, and some people do it,
And isn't it sort of ironic that you have all of these girls were in some way financially disadvantaged or lied to. A lot of them were told that, like, once Jeffrey Epstein gets into, like, once he meets Les Wexner, which is the guy who really, like, solidified all of his connections to every politician and every celebrity and all that, they procured a lot of girls who were in school for something, promising them some kind of internship. And, like, that's something that I noticed is a big pattern of a lot of the girls that they procured were financially disadvantaged, looking for a career, looking for something. They needed something,
Yeah.
That classic trope of taking advantage of someone who, like, the power dynamics are way off from the beginning. And isn't it ironic that a lot of these girls are basically poor? They're like poor children. and being molested by like a fucking Wall Street like financier whose entire gig is his entire job, his whole way of living. It's in his interest to maintain this wealth inequality. That same wealth inequality that makes it possible to procure these girls in the first place. It's like a sick cycle. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, it's nuts, and like just the fact that we have so many people like involved with it too, and we just don't know in this kind of like twisted world that is this. Like nothing has came to light, and everyone stopped talking about it.
And like we it's so weird because we all casually know. Like
it's we all casually know there's something fishy going on, but at the same time, no one's saying we demand to know what's going on. Yeah, like because that is a true atrocity, and why the hell is Bill Clinton and Donald Trump like involved with this? Why is Prince Andrew involved in this? Why are there like these huge political figureheads involved in this? Yeah, you know. Like, there's no reason why you're telling me, like, these men of good faith are going to be here? Yeah. You know, like, with a man that's been accused of being...
with, like, a known pedophile.
With a known pedophile and a sex trafficker, dude. It's just, like, how? Like, Prince Andrew, like, he went to break things off with Epstein in 2010. After he was like convicted. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, a lot of people did.
Yeah, but like
up until then.
But the weird thing about that one is like Prince Andrew, like he went to his mansion to break ties. You know, friendship's over, Jeffy.
Friendship canceled.
You know, friendship over. Like it's canceled, buddy. But then he stayed for like 4 days.
Yeah. For so convenience. What the fuck?
Like,
yeah.
He was questioned about it, but he was like, "Oh, it was." Convenient. Yeah. You're Prince Andrew. Yeah. Anywhere you go is convenient for you. No one's gonna. What in the world? Like, so, like, was it like one last hurrah? Probably. Yeah. But like, that's the thing. It's like, what the fuck is this, dude? We shouldn't be accepting these kind of answers from these kind of people. You know, these are people we hold in a high stature, and there's no reason in hell that they should be going away scot-free from this.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like, fuck, like, Clinton, dude, like, 26 times, man.
Two presidents.
Have you rode your mother 26 times on a plane?
Exactly.
Like, exactly. What is that?
Yeah. Yeah. No, you nailed it. You hit the nail on the head that, like, it's just casually happening right under, like, our noses. This is just happening. Like, we have proof that Bill Clinton is in the black book, that Trump is in the black book. That a lot of the people you know and love are in the black book, and like nothing is gonna get done about it because they're powerful, they're wealthy. Like there's this. That's what I'm talking about. That's the deeper issue. Is this intuitive but correct feeling that they're the ones with the power and you're the one with no power. So what really can you do? You know what I mean?
I think there's nothing like we can do if we choose not to do anything, and we just need answers. But we got too much going on, so yeah, of course this is just gonna go away.
There's just too much.
There's just way too much to keep up. It's like there's always too much to watch. There's always too much going on in life. You know?
Yeah.
So you never win.
Never win. All right, so briefly, I'm going to bring it back to the thing that I looked up. So Dalton School, where Jeffrey Epstein was teaching, it is a high school. It's a very prestigious high school in New York. 2-time college dropout somehow ends up becoming a math teacher at this really prestigious school. While there, he basically gets his into the financing world by a parent-teacher conference with Donald Barr, who's the dad of William Barr.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he just randomly, he taught his kids, and somehow, hey, do you want to come be a hedge fund manager?
Huh.
That's why it's so spotty, because it just
happens.
It just happens by virtue of his connections of who he's teaching. Like, how do you get to that? Hey, you're really good at teaching my kids math.
You want to be a hedge fund manager?
You want to be a hedge fund manager? So that was his start into being a financier. But yeah, Donald Barr, was his in. Father of William Barr. So there's already connections there. And yeah, William Barr is the Attorney General.
Currently.
Like, the current Attorney General.
Yeah.
So, that, like, I'm not crazy. Like, everyone has every right to believe every conspiracy theory.
Right? Oh, totally.
Because this dude was brought to light by the dad of the current Attorney General. Like, it's a big club and you're not in it kind of thing. These people all know each other. They all, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I do think, like, Epstein was the weakest link, the lowest hanging fruit.
Damn.
He was the one that was going to take the fall. Because they're not going to let him testify in court of everybody who is a fucking creep. And not only, yeah, like, so, not to, like, cheapen the pedophilia or lessen its impact or lessen, like, the atrocities and the trauma that caused for a lot of people. But how many other things do you think would have came up if they took him to court?
Oh, goodness.
He's a hedge fund manager.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Like, whose finances, like, does he know about? What else was he gonna say?
What else? Like, what is he hiding as far as, like, finances go, you know?
Yeah, like, they
this
so
man
obviously
was
killed
gifted,
him.
This man was gifted homes.
Yeah.
Like, he was just gifted anything he wanted, you know?
Yeah.
He had a fucking island.
He had an island. A whole island.
Like, he only made $577 million? Like, legally speaking?
Yeah.
You know?
That we know of.
I'm like, only?
Right.
But, you know what I mean, though? Like,
yeah,
what else is there?
One of the things that, like, I really like about learning all of this is that it's every new thing you learn, every new connection you make from one person to another makes it just all the more clear that it's a big club and you're not in it.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Everybody knows each other. Because, so another thing that I want to get into is Ghislaine Maxwell's dad. So, Ghislaine Maxwell's dad, Robert Maxwell. So, this dude, he was a British MP, but he did some Israeli like, I think he was some kind of ambassador, some kind of, like, military ambassador. He had, like, a lot of connections, like, in the UN to all these other countries. He was, like, a very well-connected person. British MP. He had ties in Israel. And, like, one of the things that, like, really, like, caught me, like, that by surprise, that caught my attention was his yacht.
Mm-hmm.
He had this yacht. It was, like, a mega yacht, like, built by, like, this, like, famous architect or something. So this yacht was originally built for, let me see, what was his name? He was a Khashoggi. He was a cousin of Jamal Khashoggi, the journalist that was, how long ago was it? Like, a year and a half ago now?
Mm-hmm.
That was killed by Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
The WAPO journalist that was chopped up?
Yes. Yeah, no. It's all coming back to me now. So much has happened since then. But yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so he had a yacht that he bought from Ahmad Khashoggi. That was his name.
Okay.
So Ahmad Khashoggi, he was a Saudi businessman, essentially. He bought this yacht from Ahmad Khashoggi, cousin of Jamal Khashoggi, and then, like, mysteriously died on the yacht. Robert Maxwell did.
Okay.
Like, he died a mysterious death on his yacht, and then that same yacht was subsequently bought by Donald Trump. So Donald Trump owned that same yacht.
Really? Like, right after? Like,
so this yacht was passed on from Khashoggi
to
Maxwell,
to Maxwell,
who mysteriously died on it, to Trump. Now belongs to some other rich guy. It's called something else. But that, like, I don't know, that connection of people is, like...
Yeah.
Like, they all know each other.
Yeah,
Like they all know each other, you guys. Like they're
Mhm.
all friends.
Mhm.
They're all weird, like
They're all hanging
pedophile,
out.
fucking satanic friends, like
Yep.
doing weird shit.
Yep. They're all hanging out and doing weird shit. Like it's hard to wrap your mind on what's potentially out there.
Yeah.
Because we don't even know. No one knows anything. Jeffrey Epstein may have been like a slip thing. But if anything else comes to light, fuck.
Yeah, it's like Jeffrey Epstein was like the tip
Mm-hmm.
of the
Totally.
iceberg. But
whatever Sacha Baron Cohen brought up in Vegas too, like
I mean,
like
it just makes
what
you
is
think
that?
like how many sex rings are like right under our
Is there one
noses?
in major cities? Like I mean, like okay, Vegas makes sense because you have world travelers. That makes a lot of sense. Like LA makes a lot of sense because you same
major
thing.
cities.
Major cities, world travelers, and all that
Yeah.
shit. So what is there one for each one? Maybe
I
depending
mean,
on how big the city is. Not saying like Seattle has one or anything like that, but like fuck, dude. Like if
it's just the kind of thing where like anything is like possible at this
Mhm.
point. You really can't rule out anything.
Yeah. Which that sucks, man.
Because all of these pedophiles have like pull somewhere in Saudi Arabia, in Israel, at the UN, and they all know each other.
Yep.
Like, I don't blame the fucking QAnon people for like thinking that there's some kind of like new world order thing going on, because everything that we found out is that like all these people were in cahoots.
Yeah.
And it seems like everybody was on board to give up Epstein to defend everybody else.
I mean, shit, man. Like, who knows what he could have brought down if he was able to speak on anything.
I always had a feeling that it was never something was going to happen. I didn't think death.
I didn't think
I
that
thought
either,
they were going to get off on like some technicality. Of,
I thought he was going to walk away.
Yeah,
if anything.
Yeah.
He was going to be able to walk away because that's how it happens. But no, they straight up killed the dude.
Yeah.
Straight up killed the guy.
Yeah, and also this is like, I didn't research this or anything, but I just remembered it, that I remember hearing about like Epstein wanted to freeze his sperm to, like, he had this goal of like impregnating a lot of like of his procured girls.
Just
like he had some kind of like world domination plan, like some creepy like evil mastermind.
On top of all this,
on top of everything, yeah.
He was like trying to just reproduce his genes, I guess.
Yeah. I remember like this came up because when the whole him dying thing, and nobody bought it, and they brought up all these reasons of like why he wouldn't have killed himself. That was one of the things, is because he actually had like this like malevolent project. Nuts.
Holy shit! He's like he spent too much time investing on this. This side thing. On top of having this huge sex trafficking ring.
Yeah.
Sex island. The fuck is that, dude?
He was like plotting world domination. So why would he kill himself?
Jesus Christ, man! Like, yeah, he had plans.
Why
would he kill himself? Yeah. He was not trying to stop anytime soon.
Yeah.
He was only 66, guys. Yeah.
Which is young. That is young. Mm-hmm. That is a young age to die, I think. Mm-hmm. In this day and age.
To kill yourself,
Yeah.
And I mean, like, his criminal history was like, why? Like, he could have walked away with something, maybe. But maybe it was that serious. Maybe the situation was that serious where Jeffrey was not walking away.
There were just too many loose ends.
Yeah, too many loose ends on his end. Because Jeffrey, it sounds like he just partied hard.
Yeah.
And
well, when he was convicted in 2009, there wasn't really, I don't know, I didn't like look into it, and I obviously like wasn't like aware of it at the time, but there wasn't really like any like black book like revelations that implicated other people, or were there?
No, I mean Ghislaine Maxwell has always been like a suspect for things, but like she's gone off. She's gone off on her shit. Mm-hmm. Like they can't get her. They can't even find her.
Yeah. Where? Yeah.
Yeah, like there's like the last known picture. Even then, it's still, I think it's edited still. is at like an In-N-Out in LA, and we don't even know where she's at. She's gone, baby.
They disappeared her, bro. They disappeared her. They'll disappear anyone.
Oh yeah.
They'll do whatever it takes.
Well, these guys had like Jeffrey Epstein had properties in. He had properties on the Virgin Islands. He had New York. He had
everywhere.
Palm Beach. He had Paris. Who knows? And these are just like things that were just reported.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just like the money, man.
Just like the money. Like there's a whole other world of that we don't even know about. There's a whole other world of like trafficking and offshore money and I don't know, it's just so hard not to be gloom and conspiratorial about everything, because everything that you learn is just like, yeah, it's a big club and you're not in it, and it could be you next.
Yeah, holy shit, yeah, I stay safe, guys.
Honestly, yeah.
Always keep an eye out. Get your own pepper spray, maybe. I was thinking about it. Why not?
Yeah.
We should all just get some pepper spray.
We should.
Why not?
Yeah. I've been on that wave.
We should go shopping sometime. Get
some pepper spray.
No, why not? We get matching
pepper sprays.
Yeah. Why not? His and hers, it'd be cute. But
that would be.
Yeah, why not? But yeah, guys, be safe.
Yeah. Until next time. Oh my God, this was like we covered a lot. This was like all over the place.
It was, yeah. But also, this episode didn't have to have structure.
Yeah, there wasn't really any structure. There's just no structure to anything anymore.
So why not show that in our podcast as well? Yeah.
I agree.
All right.
I agree.
I dig it.
All right, well, with that being said, see you guys next time. Thanks for tuning into this one. Stay safe, stay hydrated, keep going to the actions, but wear a mask and like all of that. Try to get tested if you can for COVID. I just got a text message from Western Dental that they're not taking appointments without COVID testing. You have to get tested if you want to make an appointment. And I think like just now that everyone has quarantine is essentially like over.
We canceled that shit long ago, bro.
Yeah, we just canceled it. I think like the least we could do is get tested, because fuck it, there's nothing.
What if we got tested together, at the COVID center, or what if we just got tested together? It'd be nice, it'd be cute, it'd be a fun date.
It would be.
You can get in and out afterwards.
Yeah.
But, yeah, guys, until next time, get tested if you can. Take care of yourself. Keep going to the protest. Donate if you can. Whatever you can. Whatever you can do. Post whatever you have to do on your social media. Talk to your parents. Try to break them out of it if you can. Join the fight. But love you guys. Take care.
Peace out, you guys.